I got my non-alcoholic little Stella over here.
Yes.
We're doing our dry June, our Pride month. Okay,
Okay.
look, whatever gets me through this month. Okay, it's been 10 days. I ain't had no meat in 10 days. I ain't had a sip of alcohol in 10 days. She going
Ooh.
through. She going
Ooh.
through.
Girl,
I feel your
Look,
pain, honey. Ooh.
look.
Hey, community. What's going on? Which it's your boy Terry Dyer coming at you with today's episode. Come on in and take a piping hot sip. Oh, get it together. I didn't even ask the question. You said what's brewing today? My bad.
introducing Terry Dyer.
Cynthia and the Tonys.
And the BET Awards were good. So get your cups ready for Minoritea Report. Hey, welcome to Minoritea Report. It's Auntie Kerel.
And it's Auntie Jerrell in the house as well.
Ow.
Y'all might have noticed Auntie Shar ain't here right now. You know,
Yeah,
she
we
on
don't
that
know where she at.
CPT time. Yeah, girl. We need to put on SOS. Girl, where you is? I mean,
that. I know she.
I
be
mean,
traveling
I
all
got an
the time, but
idea of where she could be.
damn. Stop.
That's what she get for not being here. I'm just gonna say that.
That's a word. That's a
Yeah,
word.
so,
let's see.
you know,
Let's see if he listens to the episode to catch it.
Okay.
He'd be telling on himself, be like, "No, I ain't listened this week." Well, that's okay then. Keep it that way. But he might show up. I mean, hopefully he's safe and sound. Normally he responds, but he ain't responded today, so it's okay. And I'm supposed to see him tomorrow, so I hope.
Oh
all
yeah,
is
I
well.
got that
But
award show.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
But anyway, in the meantime, though, community, I know if you're watching on YouTube, you see we have a special guest on the screen here. So let's set it up. You know, we got the author extraordinaire. We got the activist extraordinaire. We got the speaker extraordinaire because he be on these speaking tours. And we got the singing extraordinaire, too, because he be over here singing his face off.
Look.
We got the one, the only, Terry Dyer in the place to be. Ow.
Welcome, sister. Oh my God.
Thank
And
you
got
guys
them
so
shoulders
much
and arms out too, y'all. Watch this on YouTube.
Look.
Jarrell, Auntie Jarrell, I be, trying to let it out a little bit while I got it.
And she do. Look, especially when she be out there on that tennis court too. Just serving on them girls, letting them have it.
Giving you male version Venus William realness.
Yes, ma'am.
Man.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
mad at it. He said, minus the beads.
We ain't doing that. I might hurt somebody. Like, we ain't doing that.
Right. I know that's right. How you doing, boo?
I'm so happy to have you.
Oh, thank you. I'm doing well. It's so good to be here. Thank y'all for having me. I watch y'all all the time. Like, y'all be killing it. So congratulations on that in 6 years, right? 6 years.
Yeah.
So that's amazing.
That's crazy.
You know, I just gotta love on you real quick because, Terry knows that's my big sis, but community, Terry is one of like my longest friends, especially coming out as a young gay Black man as well too. I met Terry when I was 21 out here in these streets when I shouldn't be in the streets, and Terry snatched my ass up and was like, "Little girl, come on over here real quick." And sure enough, I came over and I sat down. She's like, "Okay, so let me tell you, this is how we're going to do this. All right, this is how we act outside. This is how we play volleyball." And I said, "Okay, thank you. Thank you."
Together.
And honestly, like I've said on the podcast before, like being the oldest sibling, being the oldest cousin, I never had like, older Black men as, besides uncles to really, look up to. And so like Terry is part of that first group of like crucial people that I've met as I was discovering who I am as a queer Black man that just played such a big role in it. So I want to make sure I give you your flowers in front of everybody. So this is time stamped on the internet forever that I love you this down, because honestly, you played a huge role in where I am today. So I just love you so much.
Thank you. I love you too. And I greatly appreciate that. I think we have a responsibility, right? To uplift our young Black brothers, uplift our young Black sisters, etc. And somebody did it for me. once upon a time. So I got to pay it forward. So it's so good to be here and good to see you.
Aw. And community, you see Auntie Shari here. She here.
She made it.
She made it. Yay!
Oh.
You might have to listen to the earlier part of the episode when it airs next Monday.
They got a little something for you.
Right, he got that little like,
I ain't listening to shit. You ain't gonna play with me and my goddamn emotions. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna fast forward that bitch to about 10 after.
Right.
Bro, she said, I'm gonna fast forward to when I got in the room.
That part.
Hey, community, it's Auntie Dawon.
Oh, love it. You ain't missed too much, boo. You ain't missed too much. We're just giving Terry his flowers. But where to even start? Because like I kind of want to ask about like the prior book, and then you got a new book coming, and all the life journey and things like that. So like I guess let's start here. Did you always want to be an author?
Absolutely not. I had no clue what that meant, looked like. Several years ago, people kept telling me, "Oh, you got a lot to say." I'm like, I hope so, right? Like, I'm a person in this world, right? I got to use my voice, right? I wanted to be an attorney once upon a time, so I love to argue and be right. So I got a lot to say. And then, I just had some life-altering experiences and challenges and things that happened. And so, sitting during COVID, or actually it was long before COVID, I started just writing and journaling and all this other stuff, and then moved to South Florida. COVID hit. And then I said to myself, let's pick that back up. Let's finish it. And with everything that was going on with Black Lives Matter that summer, et cetera, I said, now's the time. Now's the time to use your voice for people that look like you, that may not have the resources, that may not have the experience, the knowledge, et cetera. Let's snatch these folks up and give them a little taste. So that's how it all began.
Is it scary? And I said this recently because we had some other friends just recently write a book, and we went to their book, like just like almost like a book signing, and they were like reading passages out of it. And I was like, yes, we do a podcast. This is episode 332. We share a lot, this and that. But a lot of times we kind of just share and kind of move on to the next episode, whatever it may be. But to have something tangible like that, and then like to read passages over and over again, and to go on these book tours and things like that, do you find it triggering or like healing? Because I would feel like, how do I get past this shit if I keep on reading this shit to y'all and then y'all keep on telling me your stories and then I'm boo-hooing again? And girl, it's a lot.
It's a really great question. And people always ask like, oh, was it cathartic? Like, et cetera, et cetera. I think for me, writing it during a time where it was just me and my dog in a new condo in South Florida, right? Everybody was isolating, because of the pandemic. And, I'm thinking to myself, oh gosh, like, do I go home? What do? I got to figure out what to do. I got laid off because the industry that was not, working during that time. So I put out the book. And then after it came out and people just kept messaging me from all over the place. I don't know how people got a hold of my book in different countries, like, Black gay men that are living in silence in their respective countries going, thank you so much. And I, this story resonated with me. I was able to deal with this. And, I had my very first book event here in South Florida during COVID. And I will never, ever forget this. There was a gentleman who stood up, raised his hand. He was a Pacific Islander. And he said, I'm not Black, but I read your book. And this will be the first time that I'm loudly and in public able to say I was raped as a young gay kid, and I didn't know what to do, what to say, how to deal with it, etc. And when in that moment, that's when I realized this is now your purpose. This is now sharing everything that you've experienced and you've gone through. You're helping people that not only look like you, but people that don't necessarily know how to raise their hand and say, I need help, or knows how to take ownership in what's happened to them and things like that. So for me, it's all about that purpose and paying it forward.
Yeah, I have a follow-up question to that. I was going to say this too. We're talking about your upcoming book, but I think that it's quite relevant here. You've had the opportunity to explore some really difficult and personal topics, and I'm really curious about what gave you the courage to share such intimate details about your own experience? And as a follow-up to that, I'd love to just, again, piggyback on what you just mentioned, which is now that some of these retellings of your own personal experience that are super personal and deep and requires a lot of vulnerability. Now that it's out there, what has been the response from the closest people to you? And then you kind of touched on this in terms of what the response has been from the public, but I would love for you to expand on both of those dynamics, if you wouldn't mind.
Absolutely. So I will have to say one of the other biggest pieces to that, to the response in 2020 was a lot of people that I grew up with, a lot of people that I went to high school with, a lot of folks that were in older classes than I was, all reached out, Facebook, texts, etc., phone calls. Wait. How come you didn't tell us this was going on? How come we didn't know you were going through this or you were struggling with that? You were always the one that was there for us, that we talked about with our problems, right? I was a peer, what they call the peer counselor in high school. So I sat in a room and listened to people with their problems, but no one really knew that I was going through all of this stuff behind closed doors and in my own home, which is supposed to be a safe space for you, right? So I was extremely, really kind of overwhelmed by the response from the people that I grew up with, and even to this day, I have what we're calling a coming home concert in Northern California, and that came to light because someone that I went to high school with reached out and said, "Okay, you're all over the place, right? You're performing here, you got this going on, you got this. When do we get to see you? When do you come home and perform for us and bring us together?" So that kind of sparked that conversation, and I'm excited to go and reconnect and see all those people. But the response was really overwhelming from book number one, and I'm fingers crossed that it happens with book number two as well.
And that book, by the way, I know community's like, damn, what's the name of the book, Kerel? What's the name of the book, Dawon Jerrell, huh? The first book is called Letters to a Gay Black Boy. But now, clearly with the success of that one, you're like, you know what, let me get vulnerable again.
Listen.
And so now you have one coming out on July 15th called Surviving and Thriving as a Gay Black Man. So what made you say, you know what, I got more to tell and I'm willing to tell it?
Absolutely. I think over the last 5 years since the first book came out, I have been in these spaces that have been non-people of color, sitting in leadership positions at the table with folks in the community. I have, been to the White House and been recognized and seeing people around me, and I'm going, I'm not doing enough, right? Like, here's other people in DC and Atlanta and in Dallas and all these other spaces that are really hitting the ground for people that look like me. And about a year and a half ago, I said, I'm going to stop working for these other organizations, making them money, bringing them visibility, all the notoriety and getting the accolades for them. No, I'm going to go and stand on my platform and build for people that really look like me and actually do the work, right? So one of the biggest things that I love about book number two is I'm taking it even deeper. And I don't always like to say that I'm calling things out. I want to call it in and use that as an educational opportunity for us to recognize and move past some of these historical situations and things that we deal with culturally in society, et cetera. Look, let's just be honest, right? We're in 2025. We know what's going on politically. Just call it out, have a conversation, figure out how to, come to some level of agreement, and then let's just move on. We got life to live, right? So that's really one of the biggest things I love about this upcoming book is I'm calling it in. Call it what it is, recognize it. Let's be authentic and honest about it, and then figure out how do we move forward. So I'm super excited about that.
And I can see that in the first few pages of the book when you sent over to, like, just even how in your writing style, how you are even talking about some tough moments, but your lens is from a positive perspective of being like, and they tried it, and
Right.
we still went on from here, like how you talked about Aunt Patty, and I was just like, oh my God, like your Aunt Patty is my grandma, that's the person who, can't nobody you can't say nothing. As far as I'm concerned, it's God, Jesus, and grandma right there, it's right up there, And then like just even talking about, you know, just connecting back to the book. That was another thing I liked about the first few pages of it too, is I like how you were also, you know, connecting back to the first book for those who didn't get the chance to read the first book as well too. But I guess what I wanted to ask you is just kind of like, how did you go about picking and choosing some of the moments in book two to talk about versus, you know, not adding that to book one? Like, where was that line that was like, okay, I didn't talk about this in book one because of XYZ, and it became part of book two because of ABC?
Absolutely. One of the things that I did not want to do in book one, and I want to be clear to the community out there, I had no
Yeah.
clue what I was doing in the first book. I didn't know Jack. I said, let me make this up as I go, right? I mean, I did my due diligence, right? I connected with different authors on like LinkedIn, for example, met some folks across the country, really sort of talked to people that this is what they do for their career to figure out, what do I do? How do I get started, etc. And then really sort of sat with a couple of mentors, Black and non-people of color, whatever, going, this is really what I want to talk about. And it's not about putting your personal business, right? Because we say that in the Black community, right? Don't be putting your stuff out in the streets, right? Airing your dirty laundry. It wasn't about that. It was really just using those stories and those anecdotes as inspiration to other folks, as an opportunity for them to something to resonate with them and say, I don't need to turn to drugs and alcohol. I don't need to turn to suicide. Like this is how I raise my hand and say, hey, community, I need some help, right? I live in a space now in South Florida where for about 7 or 8 months, we had multiple suicides. And these were from people that we saw working at the bar, the restaurant, that we saw on a regular basis, right? And every time I see situations like that, I always think back to the reasons why I wrote the first book. And of course, the second book is storytelling is so powerful.
Yeah.
Right. And we don't always like to stand up and connect with people like that, or open up and be vulnerable with someone like that. But it goes a long way. It can truly help to prevent somebody from taking their own lives or turning down the wrong path. So for me, it was all about having the right combination in the first book. You know what I mean? I also knew something told me that as I was writing book number one, I said, well, what if I ever want to write a second book? Like, I can't tell everybody everything, right? Like, give them a little something. Like, let's come back, you know? So that I will say it was very difficult to talk about or to figure out which stories to put in there. And then book number two, I said, my platform has drastically increased from 2020 to now. So how can I bring in, you know, some context for people to understand, right? So that's why I did what I did with respects to bringing in some of the chapters from book one into book two and then going deeper, right? Let's really unpackage that, because I think I did a okay job, right, of talking about it, recognizing it in book one, but now we're gonna sit at on the therapy couch and we're gonna talk about it. So that's what I did for book number two.
And I like how each like title is like, Dear Gay Black Man, who am I? And things like that. I won't give all the titles away. I like the one, Sex as a Gay Boy. I'm like, oh, let me go into that page. Let me go on that.
Let me read that. Yeah.
Right. But how did you come up with that idea? Be like, oh, you know what? That's how I'm going to structure this. That's how I'm able to kind of like pinpoint the specific conversations that I want to have in this book.
And then can I add on to that too, by the way? And what was your favorite chapter? Like, which one is your favorite?
Yeah.
No. So, good question. So I think the first manuscript that I wrote for the first book, I sent it to, there's a few quotes in the book from one of my best friends, and she works at the Met in New York. And she offered some quotes or whatnot for the book. And when I sent her the manuscript and she called me, it was like 8:30 in the morning. Wake your ass up. Wake up. We got to talk about this book, right? I'm like, what? What's happening? It's COVID. Like, somebody died. Like, what's going on, right? And she said, why have you been sitting on this, right? Like, this is powerful. And to have someone of her stature, her caliber, you know, her pedigree, to be on the phone with me and saying, you need to get this out. This is going to resonate with so many people. What are you waiting on? Right. So that was sort of the kick in the pants that I needed to say, all right, let's figure out how to put it out. What do we do? How do we market it, etc. But one of the first pieces of advice that she gave me is, like, the first manuscript that I wrote in book number 1 was very high level academia, like she was like a textbook, she said. And she was like, that's the only thing I would say is, why can't you write it as if you and I were sitting and having wine and kikiing, right? Like, really connect with the folks. And so I sat with that for a few days and I said, what if I wrote it, as if it was just letters to somebody, and then that's how the concept came up. And I wanted to continue that into book number 2, but also show you're going from a boy to a man. So what do we know now as a man that we didn't know then? And how do we still navigate being a man? Because just because we grown and we a man don't mean we know everything and know everything that you should be doing, right? So that's how that all kind of came together.
I think one of the things that I found really powerful was you did a duality in the letters that you wrote to yourself. One to your younger self, and then another to your older self. And I'm just really curious, after you're on the tail end of writing your first book and kind of like now architecting this second story where you're going in deeper with some of these other topics where they're beyond what's on the page, because we'll have the opportunity and the audience will have an opportunity to read that. Were there other things that you wanted to include within the book that you just didn't have the opportunity to, specifically when you're talking to your younger self and then your older self?
Absolutely. There were a lot of situations and examples of inclusivity, authenticity, around intention of situations and things that I've learned in the last few years of being here in South Florida, which I do love it here. I don't want to, give a different, a bad impression of South Florida, but it's just a different beast. It's a different space, right? And coming from California, we operate a little different. So I'm like, ooh, how, what's going on down here, right? So I think there were so many examples of those topics that I chose specifically to leave out. I didn't want to. There are definitely situations that I write about where people are going to read and be like, ooh, that's so-and-so. Ooh, I know that's him, right? And I kind of like that, right? Because if we're doing dirty and you need to be called out and this is how we learn from it, that's just what it is, right? Put it on the table. Let's talk about it and figure out how we move forward, right? But there were so many more. And out of respect for, a few of the people that I hold at such high regard here in this community, I said, let me not. I think it will resonate. People will understand it. People will know, can say, I've had this experience or I've seen this in certain rooms, you know what I mean? Business wise, professionally. But I said, let me just not go there just yet. I went there in this book, but I could have gone further.
He said, get book 3.
It's a tell-all. It's a tell-all.
Baby.
I do appreciate the everybody can get smoke energy, because, I mean, you talk about nonprofit organizations, and something that we within our community don't really hear a conversation about in large platforms. You might hear sidebar conversations one-on-one, but it doesn't really rise to the level of public consumption when it comes to a lot of our nonprofit organizations. And there's a lot of tomfoolery and fuckery that's going on there. So I just really appreciate it, the inclusion of that, because a lot of the topics that you just scratch the surface on, it goes deep, but it can, there's a lot of meat on the bones. But a lot of those topics are, interpersonal, they're interrelationships, right? And this was a little bit external. It was beyond just, it was beyond race as a community, but it's about acts of service as a community and, politics as a community. And I thought that was a really interesting perspective. And I think, our listeners, who are, considering this book, I think that it offers them something broader than just, oh, this is just another kind of like self-help, self-appreciation, self-affirmation kind of book. This is more a it provides a lens on the state of being gay and black, being a gay black man in America today, which is broader than just those tropes. So I really appreciate the inclusion of that.
Thank you. That's actually one of my favorite parts, I will say, is so often especially in nonprofit spaces or in corporate too, right? Which I have a huge background in for years before moving here, is we ask for seats at the table. And I know sometimes we say, well, let's stop asking for a seat at the table. Let's build our own, right? Well, then we build our own and then we can't act right. Right? Like we can't get along. There's all this infighting, right? We gonna fight over money. We gonna, well, someone, you know what I mean? So I think for me, it was really about not only calling in what happens in spaces that are non-color, right? Or non-specific to people of color, but also calling in, what we do when we build our own table, right? Sometimes we don't sustain these organizations or the work that needs to be done to help take care of our community because we're constantly doing this with each other. And it's unnecessary when egos should be checked at the door, and it should be about the community at the end of the day.
Oof, that's the whole word. That's a whole word. Because honestly, like, I mean, I've said this about Seattle, and I know I apologize about Seattle, but I mean, that's one of the things about out here that I notice, especially with it being a tech heavy city, most of the black folks out here they have this kind of competition type drive. And it's like, hey, what can you do for me? And if you can't, what you're doing is taking away from what I'm doing, then I'm not messing with you. And it's like, but why are we saying we're taking away from each other? How come we're not collabing, or how come we're not figuring out a way how both of us can still thrive and be in the same space? I mean, like, you think of all these different businesses that are so fucking similar, ran by white people, and guess what? They still getting the same goddamn dollars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's it.
So why gotta be different for us, right? So
that's it.
I love that call out, and I love that you drive that like even more into this book about the importance of community.
Piggybacking on that, when you were thinking about architecting this collection of just knowledge bombs and personal insights, who did you have in mind? So who are you writing to?
Great question. So I think one of the first things that I wanted to address, and I don't think I answered that question, but there is a chapter that is specifically about what I call Black on Black. Mm-hmm. I love that chapter. I also love the chapter Isolation to Illumination. Mm-hmm. Anytime. Huh? What was that?
Which is a bar.
I think it was really about, okay, it's time for, and this is in my experience, of course, in my own voice, it's time for us to start, calling tea where tea needs to be called, right? Like, call it what it is, right? Jerrell just talked about community and the competition aspect of fighting for dollars. And, so often we forget that the sandbox is big enough for all of us to play in, right? Mm-hmm. And we get so caught up in, well, that's my patient or clients, that's my dollars, that's my community, that's this. Why does it always have to be my? Why can't it be ours, us, collective, that sort of approach? Because
he said, retire that Johnny Gill mentality.
Right. Like, let's do this. We're stronger in numbers. Society's already tearing us apart. Why do we need to do it to each other? Yeah. And I think that notion right there was the drive for including a lot of the content and the chapters that I did was, we need to stop this. Like, it needs to stop at some point. Like, it's been a vicious cycle. Someone needs to step up and stop this, call attention to it, figure out how to move on, change the narrative, change the game, and let's move on together, right? Funding across the board is being cut right now by who, right? Mm-hmm. Stop fighting each other, and let's work together to get more funds, to build funds together, right? Let's use what we have to continue to help support each other. That was a lot of the inspiration for writing a lot of the content that I did.
It's so crazy. Like, knowing you for like the last 15 years, I'm just sitting there, I'm like, and that's exactly, she's standing on business. She's been standing on business all this time. And I'm just sitting here just smiling because I'm like, literally from jump. Like the very first time I met you, like you did nothing but show community. And we met in Denver, like at a national, championship for a gay volleyball tournament. And let me tell y'all, Miss Terry over here, open rated player, baby. Let me tell you, she can play some volleyball, okay? And let me tell you, a jump serve like nobody motherfucking business, okay? Look, hands of butter, okay?
Yes.
But I just remember sitting there just being like on the sideline, just being in awe, being like, oh my God, like I just started playing volleyball 2 years ago. Like that's how I want to be. And then didn't even like go and introduce myself. Literally just like, who are you? Where are you from? Like I've never seen you around here before. And I was like, me? So here I am. And I just like attached.
That's exactly how it happened too.
and literally and Terry was like, you coming with me and my community, and I literally hung out with their team for like the whole rest of the weekend, and it was just such a good time. So like
that's how it should be.
Yeah,
like it's no skin off your back to like be kind and welcoming to, especially to folks that look like you. Like it's wild to me to have like that ego and that dismissive spirit. Like it's like, come on, and it's not that deep. It really ain't that deep.
That's it.
Is there something that you learned about yourself writing these books that you're like, wow, hold on, I didn't know that about myself?
Oh, good question. I would say two things that always come to mind is, how sometimes you around people and they're, again, as I said earlier, like, ooh, you got something to say, you should write a book, or ooh, you should do this, or you should do that. You don't always think about that kind of stuff about yourself. It's about giving yourself credit or recognize this is a strength of mine. That's like the first thing, right? That when book number 1 came out, and then speaking engagements and keynote speaking and town halls where I'm sitting on these panels, people's response and like, oh my gosh, like what else do you got to say? And I'm like, oh I do got something to say. Like they listened. So I think that to me was a learning and having to kind of take that and own it, right? Like we don't want to come across cocky or arrogant or anything like that, but I've met with, in the last few months, some PR agencies and things like that. And they can, all of them said to me within the first 45 minutes, you need to start owning, like your words. You need to start owning your power. Like things are resonating. Like, and we don't even know you. We Joe Schmo on the street that's reading this paragraph and this paragraph. Like this is powerful stuff, right? So you need to own that. So I think that was the first thing that I learned about myself. And then the second thing is that I will say, so anybody who knows me knows, like, I always like to be busy. Very, very busy. I like to, what else can I add to the resume, the platform? What else can I do? Right.
Yeah.
One of the things that I learned, especially in the last 7 to 8 months, is after starting my own consulting firm last year, that sort of thing, I now know how to say no. If I don't want to go, I ain't going.
I won't do it.
I don't want to go. She tired, okay?
Right. Welcome to the club, baby. Welcome to the no club.
Because I spent so much time in the last few years, obviously building relationships and networks in the town that I live in, and everybody wants you at their event. They want pictures with you. It's drinking. It's, girl, I can't do all that. Like, I like to go to the gym. I'm playing sports still. Like, girl, that's too much. Like, I'm not old, but I need sleep. So,
amen.
So I've definitely learned how to say no throughout all of these processes and these experiences the last few years.
What chapter teaches that? Because I need to read that one.
Right.
That's gonna be the first
I don't
one
see
I
this.
read.
I don't see that one yet.
Right. No, we ain't talking about that one. We ain't talking about
You're a gay black man. Sit your ass down.
Right.
This is kind of a follow-on to what you just talked about in terms of what you've learned and the value of saying no. I can imagine having had the experience of your first book and then writing this book, and then also doing all the press and like today, you're getting grilled by your aunties right now. We're digging into all the the nooks and crannies with the conversation, and I'm just curious, how have you evolved as a person, and how you move and navigate the world now that you've had the opportunity to really be introspective in order to pull all the pieces out that you needed to make this book what it is, and how powerfully impactful it is, or at least it was for us that had the opportunity to read it and in advance. And I'm curious, as you think about your own journey, how have you evolved from that experience?
Okay, so that is a wonderful question. Thank you. I'm going to try to answer this without getting emotional. I can already sort of feel it a little bit. The last several years being in the space that I'm in, and obviously I talk about the last few years of my life and the experiences and that I have here. I think one of the biggest lessons and things that I've taken away from a lot of these experiences the last few years is that I can be me no matter what, right? Like I started finding that being in positions of leadership and being the only person of color in the room, sometimes being the only Black person in the room, I found myself code switching. I found myself not necessarily always speaking up for myself or saying what was right in this room or what we should be doing to help BIPOC communities. And it was a lot of it was because I felt, ooh, I don't want to ruin that relationship, right? They got money. Like I want to get grant from them or this or that, right? So let me, I'm new to the game, right?
Yeah.
What I realized is that all of these folks, I'm not going to say all, but in general, what I found is that these folks were using me, right? Like I was still nothing but the token for them. I was still nothing but a box with it that they could check off. It wasn't about true, intentional, authentic partnerships or relationships or collaboration. It was about saying, look, we got a Black person, right? Like, look, we're inclusive.
Yeah.
No, you're not. And I think it was only, like I said, the last year and a half or 2 years of certain experiences where I said, no more, no more. You know what I mean? Like I'm grown enough, professional enough, and I've worked hard to have the pedigree and the resume and whatever to stand on my own and say, you're actually wrong. You're actually not being intentional. You are not doing the work that you're saying that you're doing in the communities for people of color, et cetera. You taking the money. You definitely taking the money that's being given out to you, right? And here's how you need to change that. Here's how we need to be intentional. Here's how we need to roll up our sleeves and do the necessary work to take care of our community. I always think about, I have a dear friend who is now a former CEO of a nonprofit here that, in my opinion, is one of the best. They're in Miami-Dade, Broward County, in South Florida. They're one of the best organizations that really gets in the heart, like they in the heart, the ghetto. This is where the people on the streets, and they're the ones providing food, taking them to their offices where showers are. They're the ones that are doing that work. Now, I know other folks that, and I've watched my friend do this. I've watched my friend in his own private vehicle go take people food when they call the offices and say they don't have any food to eat, right? I've seen him roll up his sleeves for homeless people. And as a CEO, he should be shaking hands with stakeholders. No, he said, my staff is busy. I'm going to go do this myself. That type of stuff resonated with me and saying, this is who we need to be idolizing or modifying or really building around, right? Like we need to be making sure that the folks taking care of our community are doing exactly that, not building offices and saying, oh, we built it, come to us. We know that's not how community works. Right? We know that sometimes people of color or the most marginalized and vulnerable people in our community who need resources or help, they can't pick up a phone or go online or fill out an application or things like that. Do the work to make sure that the barriers are not in place that prevent people from getting the necessary care that they need. That's what really motivated me the last couple of years to write specifically about what I have witnessed and figuring out, how do we change that, right? And I don't want to have a negative conversation with folks. I just want to say, hey, this is what's happening. Here's how we change this collectively.
What I appreciate about what you shared relative to that answer was twofold. One, it was the clarity of vision to recognize, identify, to see it for what it is versus seeing it for what they want you to see. I thought that was really clever, and I appreciate that about what you shared. The other part, which was more of an interpersonal observation that you shared, was about having the personal fortitude. the internal accountability to not only recognize it, but then to act on it. And that acting on it, as you put, it can look differently for each person, but, calling a thing, and holding people and ourselves accountable. And I love that duality. And that's one of the reasons why I kind of asked the question around, your own evolution, kind of going through this, because, we're all learning things about the world around us, right? I mean, if we look at what's happening socially, economically, politically, et cetera, there are a lot of things that are happening around us. But then there is that duality of, well, then what part of it it's one thing to recognize it, but what part of it do I own? So I just appreciate you sharing that and being vulnerable in that space.
Thank you. Thank you. Absolutely. I think we just have to do better as a community, as a culture, to really take stock in how we are not showing up in these spaces, and then what can we do better. We talk a lot. We do talk a lot, right? So let's put that talk into action and make an actual difference, right?
Yeah.
That's really important to me.
And we also, like, from a podcast standpoint, we kind of live by those tenets. I love the fact that your book is Black focused. It's not people of color, it's not the rainbow. It's not the, it's not all these different experiences. It's a Black man, a Black gay man speaking about his Black gay experience. And you're speaking to a lot of people, but it will really resonate with people that have those shared experiences. And, that's part of the reason why we have this podcast. We try to be as inclusive as possible, but make no mistake, there's a Black ass podcast, a Black gay podcast. So we may be Minority Report, but we got a big old B in there. You just don't see it, but we talk about it all the time.
What you talking about, Dawon?
Not too many bees. Be careful with the bees. Be careful with the bees.
Look, as many as needed. So no, I just appreciate that. Recently I've been reading a lot of books from Black authors. I'm recently reading a Elin Harris book that a friend hooked me up with, and I wasn't familiar with his works and whatnot. But one of the things that I'm learning is that I'm really resonating with that shared experience, like especially from, the Black queer perspective. And a lot of times our voice, because we will gas everybody up. We will gas our own community, but we'll also be gassing everybody else up. And in that gassing up of others, oftentimes some of our stories get lost. And, and I just appreciate authors like you, people like you who really hone in on the Blackness and the queerness and that intersectionality, because those are the things that are really important for our community. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you. Yeah. I think it's really, to piggyback on what you were just saying, I think so often I'm at these galas and these awards and all these other things, not only here, but in other spaces. And people are always like, oh, there she goes. She wearing these heels, honey. She came in with this big old lavish suit on. I hear these comments and yeah, I think people are saying them in jest and joking or whatever, admiring some of the little sexy outfits I come in with at these galas or whatever. But at the same time, it's like, I'm standing in my truth. I'm standing in the fact that this makes me feel comfortable. It makes me feel good. I know that I need to show up and show out, because you're not always going to have space for us to show up and show out, right? Mm-hmm. So I talk a lot about, owning our sass, owning this, owning our grace, owning our glamour, right? Owning our style, because we see them copying it, right?
Amen. And a lot of folks miss too is just the journey to get to that space of comfortability to do so. That's the piece that like a lot of people don't talk about. It's just like, it took me a while to get to this space, and I'm finally comfortable. And yes, it's joking and just things like that, but there's a hint of truth for you that you scared. And I'm okay. Yeah, and I don't want to go back to not being okay because it took me forever. So it's just like, baby, work on yourself. Stay over there until you do.
That part. Look all you want, honey, but it ain't gonna stop. We're gonna be sassy and ghetto fabulous every day, all day.
that. Oh, Lord. I mean, I always be looking at the clock. I'm like, damn, I got so many other questions. So we just got to have you back. But more importantly, where's the best place for them to buy the books? Because we know the Amazons and all that stuff. A lot of times we try not to give them all the coin. So where's the best way to get the most coin in your pocket?
No, I appreciate that. So we, in the midst of all of this, we are launching. I have a website up now, and I think it says, my team has it saying under construction or something like that or whatever. But you can buy it through my website. You know, Amazon is yes, they do take a large percentage or whatever as your publisher, for sure. But not that that's okay, but it puts you, you know, all the sales and all that kind of stuff can put you as best-selling status again. And I definitely want to, you know, achieve that once again. So definitely my website, terrydyer.org, and just click, you know, a couple buttons or whatever, and it'll take you to it. And it is out July 15th, so don't go there just yet, but July 15th for sure. And I'm so excited. So very excited.
I love it. I love it. And before we get to the next kind of round of questions too, where can they find you? Like, if it's like, hey, I want to follow him on all the socials to see them arms and everything.
I mean, I do be showing them. So.
Ow.
I always tell folks, I always like to say, listen, she big on top and big on the bottom. So you go see both sides.
Amen. Amen. Let the church say, amen.
You better stand on business. You better stand on business.
That part. Instagram, I mean, I'm definitely on Facebook. Terry Dyer, it's easy. And then in my Instagram is Terry D Sings. So Terry D as in David Sings, Sings. So yeah, definitely follow, connect.
Like, okay, double
yes,
tap.
Please do. And I answer and respond and talk to everybody. Like, my team is like, stop that. But I definitely talk to everybody and connect. So definitely.
And community, y'all should go follow, because it is his birthday week too. So when this airs,
I was about to say that too.
You know, it'll be his
Juneteenth.
birthday. Happy Juneteenth and happy birthday,
Happy
girl.
birthday.
Yes.
I know that's true. Any plans?
Absolutely.
Obviously, you're gearing up for the book launch, but like, are you taking a day to yourself to say, hey, you know, I'm gonna celebrate myself today, or you're like, no, I'm working?
No, not yet. I will be in Tucson, Arizona at a conference on my birthday.
Okay.
Yes, fortunately and unfortunately, I'm looking forward to that trip. But you know, there's so much traveling with my client work, and then also the book tour coming up. So this year, I'm not doing anything big for it, but I'll probably, before I leave next week, have a little time with my friends. It's also Pride here this weekend, so I'll you know, be with friends and get to celebrate a little bit that way.
Well, you'll definitely have to
where's
let us
your
know
book tour
what
going? Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you should definitely let us know when your book tour dates get released, so we can help get the word out, so we can help, you know, get people to where you're going to be. So, you know, we
absolutely
love to see people.
Thank you so much for that. So yes, there's a ton of information coming out, whole marketing, all that stuff coming out from my team. So I am starting with Wilton on July 15th. There's an event here, Wilton Manors in South Florida. Then I go to California. I'm in Marysville, California. I'm in Sacramento. I'm in San Francisco. Then I'm in Seattle, Kansas City, Phoenix, Arizona. We're working on New York and DC, Atlanta. I'm with the NASM Inc. organization in Atlanta in September. So we're going everywhere pretty much. We're working on New York, DC, Chicago right now.
Oh, okay now.
I love it.
So let me know.
Just come see Auntie Jarrell in Seattle.
Hey. Can't wait. And the weather's gonna be nice. It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a cool time.
I hear y'all getting a heat wave out there. Like they
I mean, that's
like
what they call it out here.
coming.
I mean, it's just been in like the 70s. I mean, I guess it was 85 today. I don't know. I mean, like it don't get hot until like after like 2-3 p.m. Like I was in hoodies and sweatpants all the way up until like 4 o'clock because it was so cool. But now it's getting a little toasty, and the sun ain't going down till 10 p.m.
Now she in booty shorts and crop tops.
Probably.
She had a quick change.
Look, she do got some booty shorts on. Look. She almost thought about bringing the game back if I got pants on or not.
Right? Does Jerrell have pants on? We haven't played that in a while.
Right.
We need to bring back some of those old situations in the show, like Alexa and all that.
Yes.
But let's see here. Couple pop culture moments here. Shout out to Coco Gauff.
Yes.
Hey, won the whole French
I'm
Open.
so happy for baby girl. Like,
same.
look,
You know, it's like so grown up now.
the first
No.
black winner of the French Open since Serena. So that's
In
just
2015.
2015.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
2015.
huge.
Yeah.
So congrats. to
And
her.
honestly, the youngest since Serena did it as well,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's
Like 2005, I think they
it's
said.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. You know, it was. I would say this Roland Garros was probably the best Roland Garros that I've seen in a long
It was a good ass
time.
tournament.
But like both on the men's and women's side, like
Cause-
yes, granted it was the 1 and 2 seeds in both, but baby, it
Yeah.
went the full distance in both the
Hey.
men's and the
That
women's.
Alcaraz center
And-
match, I was like, the fuck is this? This is crazy.
I watched all 5 hours and 29
5
minutes of it.
Same.
Okay,
hours.
Serious.
Same.
I was walking around DC. Like I went to the festival, walking instead of looking at the men's, I was out there looking at my phone. Just walking like.
now
like,
you better than
damn.
me because I would have skipped. Then I'd definitely been
Oh.
looking at the men's and world
Because
pie.
it was like the first, I stayed in the crib for the first like 3 hours of it. Then I was like, you know what? Let me get out.
gotta get out.
Let me get out before like it's time for me to go.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, I'm just gonna be in these streets watching my phone. It is what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I love the most is she had this win, and she's always so graceful and gracious, right?
Baby.
The comments and everything that's going on right now with Sabalenka, you know, she just remains above the fray, right?
Yeah.
She's like, I'm not getting caught up in the drama. That's her opinion. I won. Like,
The media
You know,
training
I
is
love
she has been media
Yeah.
trained. Let me tell you.
Yes.
You know her
Yes.
mama sit her ass down back when she was 16. Now look here,
Man.
look. This is how you gonna act outside. She got that talking from her mama saying, this is how you gonna carry
Absolutely.
yourself outside. And then
Yeah.
once the French term was over, look, she went online and be like, so here's the real size of the trophy. Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all saw me take a photo with this one over here. See how big it is?
Right.
Now look at this tiny little
Right.
thing they gave me over here. Like
Yeah.
she really
I
started
love that
opening
she's
back
such
up.
like a Gen Z, like she's just such a like young
Oh,
person.
yeah.
Like it's hilarious.
Yes.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I love it.
And
I
it's
love
it's
it.
great
Yeah.
to see like her on this side of her career, because I mean she's had some like a little bit of a roller coaster, you know, like rising
Yep.
up and then kind of falling off and then rising up and then kind of falling off a little bit. And it's great to see like she's making some waves, which is great.
Yeah.
And I'm glad she beat Sabalenka. Because let me tell you,
I
I
like
know-
Sabalenka better than Iga though. I was glad Sabalenka beat Iga.
oh, yes. I was
Ugh.
glad when she was out.
Damn.
here's my thing. I don't know. Okay, so I know Sabalenka has RBF though, really bad, and it irked me because she always she got a stink face ass
She
attitude
do.
for no
She
damn
do.
reason all the time. But she do be making those snide little comments though.
1,000.
You know, and that just goes to show, again, I understand, she's from Belarus and they got close ties to Russia. So, they act, a certain
little
kind of way.
different. It's a
So I
different-
wasn't, I was not surprised that she made the comments that she did.
Yeah.
But guess what, ho? She beat your ass twice in 2 finals. I just want you to know that.
Amen.
So that's the
Also,
real reason she mad.
I know that's why
coming
she was
into
really
this,
salty.
They were 5-5 against each other. So,
Yeah.
what does she mean?
Mhm.
She only lost because you only won because she played bad. I've already beaten you 5 other times. So
And in the WTA finals. I mean, did I say that too? I'm just saying. So I just don't understand
Yeah.
why
Right.
why she's so
Understand.
bothered.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
It's so true.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
yeah, no, it was
That's
definitely it was one of the better tournaments that I could recall in a while.
It got me.
Like, where
It got
every
me
match just
excited.
seemed, woo.
It got me excited for the rest of the tennis season, like Wimbledon coming up
Yeah.
in June. We've got the U.S. Open coming up at the end of summer and whatnot. Like
I
it's
already
it's
got my
gonna-
tickets.
Yeah.
And can we talk about how, black women, U.S. black women have won the 2 Grand Slams so far this year, though?
So far, yeah.
Just saying.
Call it.
Madison
Call
Keys,
it.
Madison Keys,
Call it.
Australia.
Call
Then
it.
Coco went over there and and Paris and let the girls have it. I'm gonna need.
Call
We
it.
need
Call
to
it.
get the third one. We need to
Madison
go to
might
London.
be right there at Wimbledon, low key. Like,
Yeah.
grass is
Agreed.
way better for her than Clay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I wouldn't sleep on Madison at Wimbledon.
Mhm.
Like, I wouldn't sleep on Coco either, but like Madison, it's gonna be
Yeah.
dangerous on the grass.
Yeah. And also, their game is, especially Coco's, with how she does a lot of that top spin on it. It just, the
Mhm.
ball plays differently in grass, and it's so
Yeah.
much slower as well too. So a
Yeah.
lot of these big hitters, they struggle. So I can't wait.
It's gonna be
I can't wait, and she'll be there. So she's
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Wimbledon
Yes.
it's an awesome tournament to go to. It's everything
Yeah.
you think it's gonna be. Everything.
I
you think.
honestly I can't wait.
Same.
Um, And then quickly here, the BET Awards were this last week.
Child,
Which were actually,
they were good.
they were actually kind of good. I know.
Let me
I was
tell
like, this
you.
was actually kind of good.
I mean, it was a room full of niggas, okay? Because the way they
love it.
were cutting
Baby.
It really was.
up, they were
And how long
cutting
that
up.
shit was, too.
Chuck.
It's always super long. Though. Like they
Girl.
didn't cut the news to keep going.
I was like, I'm tired of shit.
Look.
Yeah.
I had to
But-
catch like Kirk Franklin the next morning. And
You
low-key,
know,
Kirk
always
Franklin
ends
might
with
have had the
gospel.
best-
Because it always ends with
Right.
the gospel. It always
true.
ends. Look.
And he might have had the best performance of the night, low key. Him and Tiana.
Oh.
I mean,
Tiana Taylor 8.
I mean, okay, but
Tiana
do you think the
Taylor,
microphone
8.
was on though? I don't think
No.
the microphone was on.
No,
Okay,
No.
good. Okay, so I wouldn't say
Not
she
at all.
ate. She looked great.
at least
She
she
looked
danced her
great.
ass off. Then
She
I'll say
never-
She
that.
did dance her ass off.
never-
I love that song too, by the way. I should have left your
agree.
ass a long time ago. You did.
That. Damn
Come
right.
on now, and then to put your new man Mufasa in the music video. Come on, that's a flex. That's a flex, baby.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
he
sing
did.
that I should left your ass,
Mufasa.
and I'm gonna stump my new man on you at the same time.
Babies.
Mm.
Take that times 2. Take that times
Hey.
2.
Look, Kerel, I've been waiting to ask you this because Amy.
I
Ree
haven't watched it
performed.
yet. I like Marie though. She looks so pretty.
She looks pretty.
So good. And here's the thing about Marie. Marie is one of those singers where I know it's not going to be like it's going to be pitchy and all that stuff, but there's just something about her tone that I just thoroughly enjoy Marie so fucking much.
You
So
really
I
do.
enjoyed Marie. I enjoyed
Okay.
Maya doing that whole segment.
Maya
too.
looked good.
Maya
Sounded
looked
good.
good.
And sounded good. I
Little
was like,
Bow
okay.
Wow. No. I was like, come on, Bow Wow. Mr. 106 Park.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Yeah, no, I thought it was good.
I thought it was good. The Jamie Foxx tribute was really
Oh,
good
it was
too.
Very good.
It was really good.
So good. Tank
Jennifer-
singing ass.
And
Jennifer
I
Hudson
was-
singing ass.
she was singing, bitch.
So I didn't get to watch yet, but y'all are making me real excited to watch
Baby.
You
it.
need to watch it.
It was worth it.
Go on
Oh,
go
I
on
can't
YouTube.
wait
You can
now.
see so many of the clips. It was
Yeah.
honestly, I would say this is probably the best one since the Amanda Seals did the COVID one.
Yeah.
Oh,
You might
okay.
be right. You might
Yeah.
be right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like since COVID, like the Amanda Seal one, like it had kind of really fallen off. And last week I was kind of uncertain about it because I was like, I don't hear a lot of big names, performing and
Right.
stuff like that. But it was good, and you know what, Kevin Hart, he did it. He did
a good job.
he did it.
Yeah.
Not being like Kanye trying to say Kanye waiting for someone to let him in. We saw sinners.
We
Don't
saw
let him in.
sinners. Before he bite your ass. Yeah. Like they did it right. Like
Mm-hmm.
even like the 106, how they did the whole 106 and Park segment, I thought that
Yeah.
was brilliant. Like it was
Yeah.
such a nostalgic moment. Like to see Terrence J, to see Free, and
B2K,
still
bitch.
body down.
I still
I know. Why did I get excited for B2K?
B2K. I was.
And I wasn't even like a big B2K fan back in the day, but I saw them. I was like, okay, yes,
Okay, look.
Oh man, yeah, no, it was good. I will say, Dawon, your homegirl, even though I like the song, Dangerous Type, I think it's a good song. Baby, she is just so boring performing. Like Mariah, what the fuck is you doing?
She didn't even give the typical sway. She didn't give like a
No.
2-step. She just
I was
She's
like, you
not
got a new
showing.
ass song.
She tired. What
Was she singing
what's
live?
what's she doing to be so tired? Go to sleep. Get some
She ain't
rest.
doing nothing to be
Being
tired,
fabulous.
right? Yeah, I guess.
Being iconic.
Yeah, yeah.
You're right.
Because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, ain't nobody booking Mariah to do no goddamn dance moves.
You right.
And that's
You
and
right.
that particular song ain't
That's
about
the word.
hitting octaves. So literally the only thing that
That's why I
there
thought
were
she was
two
going to
things-
do at least a little 2-step because I was like, it ain't that
I
hard of a
wasn't-
song to sing.
No, I wasn't expecting that. You were setting yourself up for failure. That's what you were expecting. Clearly, she ain't did a 2-step in 20 years.
It's the honey video.
It was the honey video.
The only thing that I wish that her jacket takeoff was a little bit smoother, because that was a little crunchy. I didn't like
It was
that.
crunchy.
And I wish that she had like because it just would have been iconic that she would have just had a glass of champagne while she was singing. Because that to me is the vibe of the song. It's low key. It should have been brown liquor, but I know she don't really drink brown liquor like that. You know, like so. But champagne would have been on brand. Since she's not going to be singing, them arms were going to be moving around and around. So she might as well have been singing with a glass of champagne in her hand, all crystalled out.
The show should have.
I like the song though. I love the song.
Oh, I do like the song. I do like the song.
And I kind of feel like, you know, if this is a precursor to like the vibe / energy of, you know, the rest of her album, it's just going to be another hit for me. So
you know, I'll say this right now: it's going to be the summer of R&B. It's gonna be the summer of R&B between Coco Jones and you got Tiana Taylor coming out with an album. You got Mariah Carey. Those because last year was and you got A-Marie. Like last year was a pop. It was about pop.
It was Brad Summer.
Brad Summer. This year it's an R&B summer, and I hope so. Cannot fucking wait.
This is sit your ass down somewhere summer. Just sit your ass down somewhere.
That's a good open for the summer. That's a good one. Sit your ass
down somewhere vibe. There's a bunch of shit going on.
In the Speedo and shut up.
Get you some brown liquor. Sit your ass down and just.
I know that's right. Vibe out. Oh Lord, I know.
For the dangerous type.
And then rigmarole. You know she had to get her one word in there. She had to get her one word in there.
Hey, I love the fact that in her lyric video, she had the definition of it, which was great. Because I feel like a lot of people, especially our people, A, don't know these 4 or 5 syllable words, and B, be thinking she making shit up. You know, so. I love that.
Yeah, no, I live.
Yeah.
She's finally just completely playing into the caricature that is Mariah Carey, and I kind of live for that.
And I also like the fact that it's like a rappy singing kind of vibe.
Well, she had to because.
Well, but it works. I mean, like, you know,
it was 1,000%.
You know, like, you know, y'all out there, stop trying to make Mariah 20 years old. Let's be clear. She's 65. So, you know, like, she gonna be out here rap singing from now on. So get used to that. And the music was good.
I actually agree. I agree with you and Dawon. And it was actually really refreshing to see, like, to hear like her and where she is today.
Right.
Like, you know,
exactly.
We know this is Mariah of today. And I appreciate that she leaned all the way into Mariah of today.
Said, I'm giving you what I got.
Yeah, because when she tried that with Ariana Grande, it sounded a mess. So I'm glad she just stepped all the way into it.
Absolutely.
All the way. All right, before we get out of here, go ahead.
Oh, I had a question. Did y'all? Did everybody watch the Tonys on Sunday?
Oh yes, I'm glad you brought it up.
That was another long.
Shout out to Tim because we were at World Pride.
Tim Murray
and Tim Murray from Wish You Were Queer and then like the comedian and everything that we had on last week's episode or 2 weeks episode. I mean, because Dawon and I were at World Pride in DC. World Pride was dope. We haven't even talked about that. Dope. Had a good weekend. But we went to the comedy show, and after the end, we're like, hey, you know, let's go grab a drink and things like that. And he's like, oh, nope, I got to get up to New York just for a special project that I'm doing, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, early morning, got to get up there. We're like, all right, cool, whatever. So we hung up with Michael that night. Yeah. But come to find out, this is the secret that he's holding on to why he couldn't hang out that night. So shout out to you, Tim. That was awesome to see you in the opening segment there with Cynthia, because he had put out a whole campaign trying to write for the Tonys. So to see that it came to fruition for him to be a part of it.
That's amazing.
And it makes that question that we asked him to Cynthia or Idina Menzel. Yeah, like which one he would choose. Because he was probably sitting on this being like, oh my God, I know that I'm about to be seeing her. Like,
and he said something about New York then too.
Yeah.
So like he knew then as well. So yeah.
No, it was a good show. Good. Cynthia sang her ass
baby
off. Baby, let me tell you. That's how you open and close.
Too.
Yes.
She was a great host.
She needs to go back. She needs to do it again and again and again because she set the tone right. Let me tell you.
Yes.
Also, talk about a fucking flex though, because she just gets up, she opened it in a room full of people, you know, from Broadway who be singing, and she's like, I'm gonna open this and I'll sing everyone in this motherfucking room because ain't none of y'all hoes touching me. And I was like, damn. Like at this point, I'm in like, who care about the awards? Give her everything.
Give her all
like,
the Tonys.
Like, oh, she wasn't on a. I heard she was.
Give her
somewhere.
the Tony. Give her the Anthony. Give her the Tony. Give her all the Tonys. Tony.
She deserved an Emmy for hosting. That she was She was so
Let's
fucking
manifest
and
that.
I love the bit that she had with Oprah too. She's like, Oprah, look under your seat. What you got in there? You get a car.
That was so cute.
Her comedic timing was like perfect. It was perfect the whole night. And the outfits were killing it. I was like, go ahead, Cynthia, having a whole fashion show the whole night.
Yeah.
I also want to say and draw attention to the fact that every single song she sang, it was a standing ovation. Yeah. Every song. They were losing their minds for her voice. Like, that is some skill right there.
Mm-hmm. And the crazy thing is she had just got from World Pride the night before, so I know she was tired.
She did.
I knew she was tired.
Yeah.
So
and still looked amazing, sounded amazing. Like, that's crazy to be out there in the outdoors, singing outdoors, and then to jump on a plane and go do that. Like, that's amazing.
That part.
Also, I learned that I need to go see that play with Homegirl from Pussycat Dolls in it. Sunset Boulevard.
Yes.
Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah, I want to see
She
that.
was incredible.
Well, you have until
her speech
I think
kind of
the
irritated
15th
me.
of July.
Yeah, really.
It's the 15th of July. I think 15th and 17th of July is her last date that she's going to be in it.
She said, "I'm only doing this to get the Tony down. I'm getting my ass out of here."
Yeah, I got to buy
grueling.
I got to buy tickets to go see that because I want to see her before that. I was kind of resistant against it, but I mean, there's just been so many people that have just said so many positive things, and quite frankly, I'm so like happy for her because her career has kind of just been. She has been underrated. And has not really had the right kind of machine behind the talent that she really has. I always thought that she was talented, but I just, I never really connected with her. And a lot of people haven't. So, I'm glad that she's found her
she had the whole Pussycat Dolls. She was just mad that she wasn't the soloist. She wasn't bad. She was just her.
That's exactly it. And then when it was just her, things fell off. So, that just goes to show. So
she was the one singing all the notes anyway.
It's really hard to go from pop to Broadway. Like, it's super, super different.
Yeah.
So to see her transition and I thought her performance was unbelievable. Like, she shocked me.
Yeah.
Right.
She shocked me too.
I was very proud of her last night or on Sunday.
And shout out to Audra though. Audra shut that shit down. I was like, that's how you motherfucking act.
Yes.
My Jesus.
That was very much like
on the heels of everything that's been going on.
Like, it's over.
Yes.
I literally said I sat there afterwards just stuck like, what the fuck did I just
same
watch? Like,
right.
And I was like her.
Yeah.
That's how you act.
Yeah.
Everybody else hang it up. Hang it up. Right. Nicole, you did great.
Yeah.
But
I'm happy you won. Cool.
Agreed.
But that's acting.
Baby.
I was like, dear Jesus.
I felt everything that she said.
You, Patty LuPone. That's what it was.
That's what I felt like it was, right? Yeah. She was inspired by this Patty LuPone situation. So she said, I'm going to give you old school church. Like, I'm going to give you Broadway. I'm going to give you soprano diva. She gave us all of it.
Everything.
All of it.
Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah, I want to see that too. Who was that? Gypsy? Yeah, she was in Gypsy. Yeah.
And I never knew that came from Gypsy.
I didn't know that either. I did not either. Yeah.
I was like, I don't learn something today.
Sure did.
Right. And then
all right,
apparently
Curiosity
Purpose.
here.
We got to get to New York to see Purpose, apparently. So.
Oh yeah, I do want to see that too.
Yeah.
Damn. I'm about to see all this. And I want to see O'Mary as well. Like, that shit looked funny to me.
Oh yeah. Yep.
All right, Curiosity before we get you out of here. All right, coming to the stage is Terry Dyer. What song is playing?
What song is played?
What song is playing?
Ooh. Oh, I have so many. I'm going to say probably This Is the Moment from Jekyll and Hyde.
Oh, okay.
I know, probably a little shocker, but probably This Is the Moment.
This is the time.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. So definitely.
Speedo or Trunk?
Oh, always Speedo. Who's a trunk?
Amen.
Who's a trunk? I don't do that. I don't do that.
We know you're in a beach destination, but beach or mountains?
Beach.
Okay. PBJ or turkey sandwich?
PBJ. I don't eat turkey.
Okay. Volleyball or tennis?
Oh, now you're killing me.
Mhm.
Oh no, I can't answer that.
Yes,
oh
you
no.
can.
No. Oh my gosh, that is such a hard question. I played one for over 30 years and the other one for like 10 or 15. Ugh. I love tennis and I'm such an advocate, like huge competitor now. I'm going to say prior to my knee replacement, because I did have a knee replacement, which is why I can't play volleyball anymore, but I'm going to say volleyball.
Okay.
I'm going to say volleyball. Yeah.
One song you sing that you know is just going to shut it down every time?
Somewhere from West Side Story.
There we go. Okay. Your favorite hangout spot in Wilton Manors?
Drink bar.
Drink bar. Hey, there we go. I like drink bar too. Let's see here. If your beloved dog Zola could talk, what do you think she'd say about the person you've become?
Ooh. She loves her daddy. She's such a daddy's girl. She would say, Daddy, that's how we do it.
Ow. I know that's right. Top 5 albums of just of all time for you that just define.
Oh my gosh. Top 5 albums of all time for me. Okay, so I'm probably gonna lose some points, and maybe someone might try to take my card away. But
That's okay.
I'm gonna say, so Sound of Music is my favorite movie of all time. So I'm gonna say that soundtrack for sure.
Okay.
She's a musical theater opera gal, so I'm gonna say The Sound of Music. I'm gonna say Alicia Keys, her very first album. I'm gonna say Mary J. Blige was 411.
For one, yeah.
Yes. Who do I listen to? Like, oh my gosh. Oh, this is so hard. So I listen to so many different genres of music.
Exactly.
I'm gonna again probably lose a card, but Celine Dion. Probably any album.
I mean,
Celine
girl,
Dion.
she'd be singing.
She'd be
Right. It's all about the voice for me, right? She makes you feel something, right?
Mhm.
And then I'm probably gonna say, and don't kill me, but I can't remember the title of it, but Luther Vandross, like big album. Probably his biggest album. Yeah.
Okay. Your favorite author besides yourself?
What was that?
I said besides yourself.
Probably Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou.
Not mad at it. Beyonce or Janet?
You gonna get me in trouble? Oh, I just watched this morning Janet's performance on the AMAs. And I didn't watch the AMAs this year, but I was like, all right, that's our girl, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get so many points taken away from me. I'm gonna say Beyonce.
Okay.
I get it. I mean, there's no wrong answer.
There's no wrong answer, honestly.
I know,
There
but
really isn't.
It's Janet and
like,
Beyonce,
that's
like-
my upbringing, you
Yeah.
know, like
I know.
Janet's like
Yeah.
old school. That's our slow
Yeah.
groove girl, you know.
Yeah.
And we'll end on this one. You've shared so much in your books. Who would play you if it was turned into a biopic?
Ooh. Michael B. Jordan.
I'm
I
not
see
mad
that
at
for
you.
you.
I know that's
I
right.
see that
I know that's right.
Because she said, I'm fine and he
Fine
fine.
as hell,
and
right.
what? Look.
He gonna give you body and abs.
Look.
Yes.
Look, I work hard for this, man.
I know that's
Baby.
right.
Amen. Amen. Community, letters to a gay black boy in the upcoming Surviving and Thriving as a Gay Black Man. Please support Terry. Terry, again, tell him where to find you. Tell him your website, all that good stuff.
Awesome. Thank y'all so much. So website is terrydyer.org, TerryDyer.org. And then Instagram is Terry D Sings on Instagram. So super easy, super easy.
Love it. Yeah. It's just cool to have this like platform now, just because like we get to just meet so many like fantastic people. And so we appreciate you taking the time to do so, because you could have been out there on, Wine Tuesday and all that stuff down there, down
I was
the
probably working
streets.
still. Probably working still.
But we appreciate you like taking the time and come kick it with us. We really, really do.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for the invitation. Thank you for continuing to provide safe and brave spaces for people who look like us. That is so important as we try to navigate this crazy thing that we call life. So keep doing y'all, keep killing it for us.
Absolutely.
We love it. Thank you so very much.
Absolutely.
Thanks, baby. And I can't wait to see you next month.
Yeah. I know the last time I was in Seattle, we had a good time.
We too good of a time. Because you came. No, we were at Union, and because you came in for that conference, and it was. I remember being a Friday because we were watching RuPaul, and I got lit. I got lit, child. It was a time traveling night, and it was not even supposed to be that.
No, but it was.
Well, anything else on your hearts and mind, Dawon Jerrell?
No.
I hope everyone have a great week and keep enjoying Pride Month. Keep taking up space. Keep making sure that you remember that Pride is for all of us. And a reminder, until everyone's free, none of us are free. So keep that in mind as well.
Pride's for all of us, but Juneteenth is for us. Wash your hands, your legs, and your ass. Bye.
Bye, y'all.